I'm going to be going over some quick ideas and concepts of people who thought about the ideas of reincarnation within the biblical text and just early church history. So, in this video, I'm not going to be necessarily addressing the ideas of whether or not reincarnation is in the Bible, but I'm going to be talking about whether or not the early church, or just Christians in general, after the times of Jesus, actually believed in reincarnation. So we see in more modern day ideas, in which people call New Age movements, they often claim that the Bible teaches reincarnation, even to go as far as the church took reincarnation teachings out of the Bible. So, like I said, I'm not going to be going over all of that, but I'm going to mainly be addressing the issues of just the early church. And over the few hundred years after the fact. So most will point to the Council of Nicaea, which would have been in 325 AD, and the Council of Constantinople in 553 AD. We know that Nicaea, certainly, all of the overseers there did not mention reincarnation at all. The Council of Nicaea was only, or I should say mainly, due to Arius's claims that Jesus was created and is not eternal, in which the church denied everything that Arius was quoting. But the second council I mentioned, which was the Council of Constantinople, they also did not talk about reincarnation. They addressed Origen, who claimed that our souls existed forever in heaven prior to us coming to this planet Earth. Most Mormons actually believe this today. They will usually try to quote the book of Job to support this idea. However, we see early church fathers and even Origen himself condemn reincarnation with either biblical thought or philosophical thought of that day. Irenaeus told us in his book Against Heresies in about 189 AD that in this book he questions Plato, and I will read it on quote, "O Plato, do you obtain the knowledge of this fact?" So, and just for proportion here, I'm not going to be quoting the entire passage in which these church members went over, because I'd like to keep this video as short as possible. But I will certainly link all of the quotes below from a couple websites here in my description, so if anybody would like to check that out after the fact. Moving on to Tertullian. In his book, Apology, he rhetorically asks if there is any ground for the moving to and fro of human souls into different bodies. Why may they not return to the very matter they left? And then Origen, who we are talking about in another context of the specific council in 553 AD, he was simply a believer in eternal souls. He did not believe in reincarnation. He answers objections to people in his book that people were talking about John the Baptist was Elijah reincarnated. And you see this a lot today. Ironically, we see this quoted a lot by a lot of New Agers, people going over this today. And I will briefly explain what he says here. He says, quote, "How then does John come to say to those who ask, 'Are you Elijah?' I am not." One may say John did not know he was Elijah. However, a churchman who repudiates the doctrine of reincarnation as a false one and does not admit that the soul of John was ever Elijah may appeal to the above quoted words of the angel and point out that it is not the soul of Elijah that is spoken of at John's birth, but the spirit and power of Elijah. End quote. So I think it's explicitly clear that none of these specific councils, or just early church fathers in general, believed in reincarnation whatsoever. Now again, I want to reiterate this point. I'm not making a video on whether or not the Bible itself teaches reincarnation, just whether or not the early church fathers believed in reincarnation. And this is a resounding no. They most certainly did not believe in it at all. Again, I will leave the descriptions below, but here's a couple other names that you can think about. Lantacitus, Ambrose of Milan, John Chrysostom, and Basil the Great. No Christians or Catholics of these time frames believed in reincarnation, and that is explicitly clear in all of the writings that we have from all of these individuals that wrote and told us about these time frames. So, if you guys like this type of content, let me know below, because I certainly wouldn't mind making a video about people that try to claim that the Bible and Jesus himself believed in reincarnation. I think you guys already know my answer, but I would love to make a video, so if you guys are interested, just let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.